We're still kicking it with the pre-event interviews before the start of the 2024 VCT Americas kickoff event. I'm Pedro Romero, and I'm back with a brand new interview. This time, I'm accompanied by neT of G2 Esports. Really appreciate you taking the time just doing this quick interview. I just want to start off by just covering just your experience finally getting to VCT after winning Ascension when you were with the guard. So, how has that experience been like for you, specifically in that?
It's been a very interesting, but overall, in my opinion, a positive experience, just because it's, in my opinion, truly made me appreciate like just playing at the tier 1 level and just being able to participate in the league because all of last year, all six of us had to grind just to be here, and we're all just grateful and just excited to play.
Yeah, of course, it really was a long and hard road for you and the rest of the guard people to uh, get that ticket to VCT for this year. And of course, I have to ask about what the off season was like for you, because I feel this past off season concerning you guys was probably the most hard that anyone would have to undergo in recent memory. And so going from winning Ascension um, in regard to then parting ways with that org to now getting picked up by G2 for this season. I want to know what was that experience like for you, and in doing so, what do you feel was like the most difficult part that you had to navigate in a general sense?
It was definitely a difficult and tough experience overall because, like you said, that we grinded like all of last year pretty much to win Ascension and to get into franchising. And as a result of the guard not wanting to participate in the league for that brief like 1 to 2 week period, we were just super like shell shocked because we had pretty much had to scramble around and like reach out to the franchising team, the teams already in partnership, to see if we can get a spot. And if you didn't, then it would be terrible because you'd have to just play in Ascension or Tier 2 all over again, which would suck. But luckily, after joining G2, they've been nothing but great, and I have nothing but great things to say about the work. So I'm
Oh yeah,
thankful for that.
oh yeah, of course, and as a result of joining G2, you guys had to also make a few roster changes, was specifically bringing in Leaf for Texas. So how has that experience been like, trying to fit in a player like Leaf into this squad, given that the squad has been together for basically quite a few years, probably around 2 years now to be exact, since the formation of the guard back in like late 2021, early 2022. So how has that been like trying to work with Leaf be during this past off season?
It's been great. I think Leaf, or Nathan, is an incredible player, and he's been fitting in perfectly, to be honest. I think he's unbelievably skilled. He's very vocal, and he's a great teammate. And in terms of like, if you want him to do something, he'll do it. Anything that we need him to do, he'll do. And he's very flexible with his agent pool. So he's all that we can ask for. And I'm super grateful and happy to be working with him.
In what way has it been different when it comes to comparing um, Tex and also Leaf? Of course, a player such as Tex bring his own way of contributing to the team through his play, but how has it been, comparing that with Leaf and the things that he has brought to the table to the team so far?
I would start off by saying that I think Leaf and Tex are just both incredible teammates and players, and I'm just fortunate to be able to play with both of them because they're both just very great friends of mine, and I'm just thankful that they were able to be a part of my life. But the differences between them, I would say Leaf is a little bit more vocal than Tex with what he wants and how he wants to play, so it's just a stylistic difference, and he's a little bit more aggressive. So yeah.
Yeah, of course, of course. And I want to know about the progression of this team, this guard, X guard, now G2 team has been, because like when it comes to looking at this team in particular, I mean, there's been plenty of like talk about, oh, how Valorant is, and people can just get together, form a team, and just kick ass. And I feel like the guard is like the one of the teams of its kind to do exactly that and just exactly fit the bill and just grow from just literally not being as known or being unknowns to just for making VCT, and it shows quite the continuation of a incredible progression for this team. And so when it comes to looking at this team's progression over the years, what do you feel is one thing that has like changed the most, or mostly like changed for the better for this team up until now?
I think a big thing that has changed is definitely the our confidence in ourselves and our trust within each other. Just because we played with each other and for such a long period of time, and the results have shown for it that we know that we can accomplish and achieve great things together. And I can confidently say that I have full trust in all of my teammates, and I believe that they have full trust in me. So it's just a great environment to be in, to be honest.
Now, taking the focus onto you, what do you feel was the single thing that you felt improved for the better that then led to your improvement in the server in matches for you in particular?
I would say for me in particular, my confidence in myself and my confidence that my team has trusted me to make the plays that I think are correct or the plays that I think are necessary to win the round definitely helped me as a player because there's no hesitation and I'm just able to execute.
Mhm. Mhm. How much do you think that confidence has grown throughout this past year up until now? Like, how would you describe that kind of change in confidence for you?
It has definitely grown immensely just because we have the results to prove that we know that we have a winning system. We have players that just know how to win. So if we just keep doing what we do and working as hard as we can, then the results will speak for themselves.
Mhm. And there's been plenty of like takes and conversations about how tier two has been faring for the players that have been taking part, both good or bad. But what's your how do you look back at how the tier two, your experience playing in tier two for all of 2023 has helped shaped yourself um, in your current form now that you're getting ready for this upcoming season in tier one? So how has that experience in tier two helped you then be in your current form, your current position, current state?
I would say my experience in tier two helped me become the player I am today, just because at the end of the day, in my opinion, last year, the difference between tier one and tier two was pretty sl like the margins were pretty slim just because there was so much talent in NNA before franchising occurred that there wasn't enough room for all the players. And so because as a result of that, there were so many teams and players that got left out even though they were high performers at the tier one level last year. Like for example, us on the guard, we went to international events. Some players on Exit that went to international events weren't in tier one. And some players, even on Luminosity or like other rosters that compete in tier one all of last year, were not able to be in the franchising system. So tier two, in my opinion, while it was not at the same level as tier one, obviously, just because that's the best of the best, it's not like it was that much lower. So we pretty much had the whole year just playing matches, and it just helped us like just build the confidence just because we won and we know how to win. It just showed us that we really can win and we really know what to do. And it's definitely helped me all those results and like all the hardships that we dealt with last year helped me become the player I am today.
Yeah, and as it relates to the off season, we've been able to see a few matches between tier one and tier two teams within North America. How would you compare the tier two and tier one teams nowadays after having seen plenty of events where both levels are pitting against each other?
Yeah, I would say they're pretty similar in my opinion. I would say the tier two teams had a head start compared to the tier one teams, just because like a lot of those teams have been practicing for a longer period of time compared to the tier one teams. Because as you know, that us for G2. I'm speaking about the Sentinels Invitational or whatever event that was. Like we had a week of practice and we were pretty much just like playing that to get used to each other. And we weren't as results oriented as we usually are. And we were just focusing on just getting used to each other and figuring out like what we could be better at. And that was a great event to play because it really revealed what we could improve upon. And for the tier two teams, like they've been practicing for months. And for them, because I was in the same situation, you're playing that to win because that's realistically your only opportunity that year to play against tier one competition. So you're doing everything you can. And if you're a tier one team and you have tournaments coming up in the next 12 months, you don't really want to reveal as much because just being honest, like you don't like winning a VCT match means much more than winning an offseason event, in my opinion.
Yeah, of course, and yeah, there's no debating that. And now taking the focus onto your, um, well, taking the focus onto the road ahead, and I mean that by saying taking a look at VCT Americas and just competing in the league alongside your teammates. Do you have any teams that you most specifically want to take on, or player that you want to take on?
I would say I definitely want to play loud just because I have a lot of respect for those players and we've never had the opportunity to play them because for like a lot of these teams, we've played them throughout, like I've already played them throughout my history as a player. Like I played the Optic Core already. I've played everyone on Sentinels already. I played like pretty much everyone. And Loud is the team that I have not played against. And yeah, I really want to play. I just want to play them because I have a lot of respect for them as players and as a team. And I guess the player in particular is less. I think he's last year he proved himself as the best Sentinel in Americas, and that's something that I would definitely just want to compete and just prove myself.
So I guess the that player that you want to take on is less, right? Number
Yeah,
one. What
yeah, I
about
have a
it?
lot.
Oh no, you were going to say something.
I was just saying I have a lot of respect for him, and I think he has proven that he's a very high skilled, intelligent player, and he's difficult to deal with.
What about specifically in North America, amongst the North American teams? Is there like a fellow Sentinel or other player that you most specifically want to take on, given the fact that you already had some reps in against some of the region's best beforehand?
I would say Demon One because we're pretty good friends and we have like a lot of banter and we have a bet on we just have a bet against each other on our first match and the loser is gonna have to do something pretty funny. So
Come on, come on, come on. You can't just say that and just not give me all the details. Come on, what's that bet about?
nah, I can't leak that.
Ah, come on. All right. We'll find out once that encounter does happen later on down the line. I got a few more questions to ask before we wrap up this whole conversation. It's just sort of similar to all the other interviews that I ask at the very end of each session, but more so now focusing onto the team. Of course, given the fact that G2 is the newest team entering VCT Americas for this season, there's not gonna be as much expectations compared to the more well regarded teams such as NRG, such as Loud, Sentinels, Leviathan, stuff like that. And so, um, how do you view the current level of this G2 squad relative to the other top teams within VCT Americas? You know, what's that gap like between you guys and them?
I would say honestly, I don't think there is a gap. And while the public, I may see us as like lower just because technically it is our first year in the VCT system. Like you have to remember that prior to last year, like we've played against all these teams all year and we've beaten them. We as a core, we've gotten number one in NA. And in my opinion, as long as we stick to our process and if we do our things right, I have no doubts in ourselves that we can be the number one team in Americas and qualify for every event.
Of course, and hopefully you guys are able to do exactly that, and just building off of the momentum that you started from winning Ascension, for a new org. So neT, like I said at the start, thank you so much for taking the time answering all my questions. I really appreciate it, and best of luck in the future, man.
Thank you so much for everything. Have a great day.